You
Yeah,
can't
she
blame
was
Mark
cool.
for not getting angry over Brock, right? What was he going to do about that, right?
I know, seriously,
No,
right?
they were
The
they were
big
done by
guy.
then anyway. Yeah, they were done by then. I don't remember how they broke up or whatever, but they were done by then anyway.
Hey Tom, use the Patriot character. I think Del Wilkes was the original Patriot. How did you end up getting rights to that character?
So to take a step back prior to Del Wilkes, Patriot was a well-known character in Memphis. They actually was a tag team. So like when people mention Dell was the first to use it like in Global and then like WCW and stuff. So he got the furthest with it, but there were other regional patriots. Like if you look it up, Mike, it's actually fact. Jerry Lawler back in the day created a comic book because he's an artist. He created a Patriot comic book that he published for I don't know how long, for years, I guess. And it was a professional wrestler called the Patriot. And this is years, years and years and years ago. And then he created the Patriot tag team in Memphis. So the story that revolves around the Patriot, back in 1998, we were doing these Army base shows. The promoter's name was Tom Shade out of Missouri, and they were sponsored by, now I'm going to see if you remember this. Remember 1-800-COLLECT?
Yes.
I
Danielle won't
remember
remember.
that.
She's too
I'm
young.
young.
She's too
I actually remember
she's too
that.
young
I
for that.
remember
Are you
it.
kidding me?
Nah,
No,
she
I just said
remembers.
I'm not that young. I remember 1-800-COLLECT.
So
Lies.
1-800-COLLECT was a mega, 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 mega fortune, company back then. So they were the sponsor. So we were doing Army bases all over the country, and I was out of WWF, and I was wrestling as myself as a was I it
I
was
like that
me and
pink on you.
it's always been my color. Me and
I
Brian,
love
you
it.
remember Brian Lee?
Yeah.
So Brian Lee, I think he was I the heel? I think I was the heel. So anyway, we had Honky Tonk Man, we had Jake Roberts, we had Brian Knobs, Brian Lee. Now Umaga at the time was wrestling under the gimmick as Sultan because his brother gave him the Sultan gimmick just to get ring time before he got his WWE or F or whatever. So he was on the shows as the Sultan. So they had Samu was on. Who else? Samu, a young Christopher Daniels, like in his rookie year. Christopher Daniels was on them. So anyway, um, Honky Tonk Man said to Tom Shady, he said, "We need to come up with a character. We're in front of 2,000 soldiers. We need a Patriot gimmick. We need some, red, white, and blue something." So they reached out to Dell, and Dell said, "Look, I'm done." He goes, "I've had all these surgeries. I have all these torn tendons and ligaments." He goes, "I'm completely done. Not even one of those stand in the corner and be a tag team." He says, "I'm completely done." So he says, "Use it." He goes, I had it, I'm done with it. Use the character. He says, "You have my approval, whatever you guys need to do. You have my approval to do whatever you want to do with it." So again, they
That's
reached
awesome.
out to him. And he, like I said, we were even in his hometown, and he didn't even come out for that one. So anyway, Tom Shade says to me, he goes, "Just go get," well, Honky Tonk Man was ID. He said, "Listen, just go get a mask and some trunks, half-ass it. You could wrestle twice on the same show. Nobody will know any different, and make extra money." So that's what I did. I went and got the mask. And, for me, I got to look good. I want to look. So I got a good outfit.
You
I didn't
do
want to
look
just keep the
good.
mask. Yeah, I mean, I
Jesus
wanted to
Christ.
do, like, I've always been about trying to be professional. So get the outfit, get the good mask. Because early on, it wasn't, I had this cheaper material or whatever, wasn't good. So I got good stuff. Anyway, we're in
I
front
think
of
anything you put on, you
2,000.
make look good.
Try my
Jesus.
best.
Tom.
So we're in front of 2,000 soldiers, and I'm wrestling Sultan. And it was so easy, so much fun. I mean, needless to say, the USA and the Sultan, and just a match made in heaven. So I knew Del. We were on tours to Japan together. I knew Del from WWE. So, like, nothing was ever said for years. And now September was my 25th anniversary that I've been doing this character. People think it's been like 5 or 6 years. September's 25 years. And probably for the first, I don't know how many years, Del never said a word. Somebody crawled up his wife's ass, and they start doing, apparently they needed money, so they start doing conventions, start doing like blogs. And then all of a sudden, 20 years later, he's like bad-mouthing me. I'm like, dude, I'm easy to find. My phone never rang, never got a text, never got cursed out ever face to face. It was always some bullshit on some guy's podcast. So I just went about my business. I said, if it wasn't me, and don't get me wrong, there's been guys in different areas that'll just throw an outfit on a Patriot and call him the Patriot. So the rights to it, Honky Tonk Man had a idea that his lawyer had given him. He said, he was feuding with Vince at the time. He said, go out for $250. You can get a trademark and just take it over if it's not being claimed. So he went out, he got about a half dozen of them. He got the Patriot. He got Brutus Beefcake. He got the Nasty Boys. He got, I think, Jim Duggan, if I'm not mistaken, Jake Roberts. And he owned like 6 to 10 copyrights, trademarks, whatever, for years. And then like at last, renew it, $250. Renew it. And he told people, he said, I gave Tom the Patriot. Tom's going to be the only guy that does it. If he wanted to be a real prick, and if Del Wilkes wanted to do it, he could be a prick and tell Del, sorry, you can't even do it.
Right.
Sorry. But never came to that. So anyway, my thing was, I never tried to go mainstream with it. It's a little spot show gimmick that we use here in the Northeast, and that's as much as we've ever done with it. I've never got on a plane and traveled anywhere with it. I've never tried to put it on TNA or one of these companies that have television. Strictly a spot show gimmick. I tell people when Del was a little crabby down the stretch, I said, listen, you want to get in your car and drive up from South Carolina and wrestle in front of 50 people like I'm doing, knock yourself out. That's it. That's simple.
All right, Tom, we've kept you a long time. I want to hit you with Daniella's final question. It used to be called Pharaoh's final question, but now it's Daniella's final question. I have no idea what she's going to ask you. It's unscripted. I'm sure it's something that will make you feel uncomfortable, though. That's for sure.
Why do you always feel like I make people feel uncomfortable?
Good. That's good.
Out of all the female wrestlers you have ever encountered or wrestled with, who would you pick to have been your love interest?
Oof, nice.
That's a good question because
that's a good question.
The ones in WC, so I always loved Kim Page. I loved her in WCW. She was definitely the best. Always loved Marlena in WWE. There wasn't a lot there when I was there. They all came kind of after I was done. So, like, I don't know the younger generation.
Okay, we'll make it a little fair, too. Even if you want to choose present day, even if it wasn't someone you've actually worked with or encountered, but present day,
like
could be NXT,
like besides
could be
you,
ACW, anyone.
Like beside you.
Oh, well, look out.
Besides
I'm
you.
never a wrestler. I only date them.
You know what?
Okay.
Wahoo's wife takes my other one partner, and now fucking Tom Brandi taking my other. I'm a big partner.
I'm just saying, I can't wait for training camp in March. I'm going to be counting down training camp for March.
No, so I gotta go with the ones I was around, because now, like, when you look at like the ones that were on TV, even the ones like Trish Stratus was after me. Like, I'll give you an example. Mickie James, I knew her from when she was just starting out, so I don't look at her the same way. And girls like Lita, I knew when she first started out, so I don't look at her the same way. I knew them when they were just indie girls. Same with Sunny. I knew Sunny when she was sitting in the front row, and Chris Candido was like in his first year of wrestling, and she was there with him. So like I never, and Sunny was the hottest thing when I was in WWE. She was beyond on fire. This is right before, kind of like before Sable a little bit. She was absolutely on fire. But I never looked at her. I was never attracted to her, just because of how I knew her from all those years on the Indies.
Are you trying to
yeah,
say,
I mean,
Tom, the Indies were the same as when she moved up the ranks? She was the same type of person?
Who's that? Tammy?
Yeah.
I just looked at her different. It's almost like a little sister type.
Gotcha.
Never looked at her. I was never attracted to her, just because she was always with Chris, and now she was starting to get around, and it was just like I couldn't have had any less interest.
She's starting to get around.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have had any less interest. But again, she doesn't come into play. Marlena always did it for me. Kim Page always did it for me. So I'm trying to think who else.
By the way, Terry.
What? You're making a roster.
Tom, Terry was in studio a couple of weeks ago. She's a pretty impressive person. I really liked her a lot.
Whose side are you on?
Great person. No, there's another. You can never say a bad word about her. She always was great. Always was great. Her, never had a problem with any of them. Like even China. Like I was there the first day that China came in, right? And she was sitting at the gorilla position. Nobody knew who the hell she was. They're like, who is this freak? Who is this? Like, we all thought she was a dude. She had those features, right? She had those, like, all these masculine features. Like, they made her look more feminine. But when she came in, I mean, all that growth hormone she was on, she looked like a dude. And everybody's like, they're like, and that's when she looked good. Like, when she got implants, and they made her, they trimmed down her jawbone. They made her look more feminine. And then she got in Playboy. She looked great.
Yeah.
But when she started, like this is before they hired her. I was there for her tryout. We were in Florida. This is like when she just came to meet everybody. And we're like, who is that? She was a freak. I mean, we would have bet it was a guy. I would have bet you it was a dude. Absolutely.
Is that a dude?
Dude looks like a lady.
Uh-oh,
Dude looks like a lady. Every bit of it. Every bit of it. No. But she was always cool. We always got along. She couldn't have been any nicer. Like she had that voice. Remember her voice?
It was
She had a little bit of a lisp. Yeah, like she had a little bit of a lisp. She was always nice.
All right, Tom. I want to thank you again. Fantastic. Thank you for taking the time out.
You,
I am sorry about the fills, my friend.
Absolutely. What a pleasure.
Have a great
Mike,
weekend.
I'm going to send you something for Danielle.
You got it, my friend. Or you could just contact her directly.
You can contact me personally, baby. You don't need to go through him.
All right.
I'm just a pawn in this game, Tom. A pawn in this
I'm
game.
just sliding your DM.
I'm going to send her this video.
Oh,
You know, as Daniela gets more used to this interview style, I'm just going to turn on the cameras and go home and just let her have at it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Well, I didn't know.
I didn't do anything with Pharaoh, but obviously she's an asset to the show.
She is certainly, or she has two assets for the show. One, could be that too. However we want to say.
Let me ask last question.
Sure.
How did you get involved in the show?